Hi, hello friends, I am back with another video, and this is going to be my June wrap-up and my July TBR. So without further ado, let's just get on started. So I had a fairly good reading month in the month of June. I read 9 books, and most of them were 4/5 star reads. Some of them were 3 stars, and one of them I believe was 2 stars. So the first book I read in the month of June was Days of Blood and Starlight by Laini Taylor, and I rated this 4 out of 5 stars. I really enjoyed this book, and I liked how it continued on from the first book, and I'm really excited, but also nervous, to get into the last book. What is that?
You can have this because this makes the face like...
What is it?
It's like a hydrating primer mist. This is yours. Can I have my lipstick, my liquid lipstick back? Like the burgundy one?
It's in my blue bag, wherever that is.
Right.
Yes, I am.
Yeah.
It's in my blue bag. I don't know where that is.
Yeah.
It's in here somewhere. It's probably in my bed.
Right here.
There you go.
It fell out.
Yeah, that works.
Just jumped right out. It's like I need to go back to my hometown.
Bye! The second book I read in the month of June is Frostbite by Rochelle Mead, and I rated this 4 out of 5 stars. I really enjoyed how this continued on from the second book, and I'm super duper excited to get into the third and the fourth book of the series, and then eventually the fifth and the sixth book. I'm enjoying this series a lot more than I actually thought I would, and that's kind of shocking to me because I'm not normally a vampire type person, but this book is definitely not Twilight in any way, so I think that's why I'm enjoying it. Third book I read in the month of June is Salt to the Sea by Rudis Pettis, and I rated this 4 out of 5 stars. This being my first Rudis Pettis book, I was pleasantly surprised by how much I enjoyed her writing, and I was really surprised at actually how much I enjoyed the book. I didn't think I would enjoy it just because it was a historical fiction, and I'm not much one for history. So, like I said, there was much surprise and shock when I finally actually enjoyed the book about historical fiction. I would definitely like to get into more of Rudis Pettis' writing, and I'm definitely going to be reading more of her books in the future. If I didn't say so, I rated this 4 out of 5 stars. I can't remember. The fourth book I read is for a book club that I am a part of, and that is Burial Rites by Hannah Kent, and I rated this 3.5, I think, out of 5 stars. I will leave the link to the book club in the description box down below if you would like to check us out. I enjoyed this book at first, but the ending was really abrupt, and it didn't appeal to me as much as I thought it would and was going to. I wish there was more to the ending, but unfortunately there wasn't, so that is why I only gave it 3.5 stars. If it would have been a better written ending, I probably would have given it 4 or 4.5 stars. The fifth and sixth books I read in the month of June were The People of Sparks and The Diamond of Darkhold, both by Jan Duprat. The People of Sparks I rated 3 out of 5 stars, and The Diamond of Darkhold I rated 4 out of 5 stars. Basically, I enjoyed these books. The second book was more dramatic than I wanted it to be, and I didn't really like it as much. I would say it was probably my least favorite in the series, and the third book was definitely a lot better than the second book, but I would still have to say that the first book is my absolute favorite in the whole trilogy. The seventh book I read in the month of June is What My Girlfriend Doesn't Know by Sonia Sones, and I rated this 2.5 out of 5 stars, I think, or 2 out of 5 stars. This book was just really annoying by how it was written and how the author played out this 14-year-old, I believe it was 14, I'm not sure, but he was a really young kid, and it was like, oh, let's have sex, I'm gonna go join some college clubs and all this stuff, and it wasn't really realistic, and I just thought it was really stupid as to how it was written. It was a very fast-paced read, but despite it being fast-paced, it took me a lot longer than I thought it would because of how much I disliked the book. The eighth book, and possibly my all-time favorite book I've read this month, is The Dark Days Club by Alison Goodman, and I rated this 4.5 out of 5 stars. If you would like, I will link my review for this book in the description box down below so you can check that out. I won't say much of my thoughts on it because I did a full review, but I thoroughly enjoyed this book, and I now understand why there's so much hype surrounding it. And this book also made me realize that even though there's hype surrounding a book, I can still like the book, and then I don't have to be that afraid to go into a book with hype in it. And the last and final book that I read in the month of June, which I literally just finished like 10 minutes ago, is The Prophet of Yonwood by Jan Duprat. This is the prequel to the City of Ember series, but I am reading it after the series because I was previously in the middle of the series when I found out that this was the prequel. I rated this 4 out of 5 stars, and the ending is what made it a lot better for me. I would have rated it 3 or 3.5 stars, but I wish I would have read the prequel before the series, but now that I've read it after the series, I have more of appreciation for it because I now understand what everything was being prepared for. So in total, I read 9 books this month, and next month is going to be a bit ambitious as well. Sorry I didn't have any of the books here with me. I took them all back to the library, and I am too lazy to insert pictures into this video because, let's be real, ain't nobody got time for that. I'm now going to tell you what I plan on reading in the month of July. I have a very ambitious reading list for July, and I'm also going to be participating in the biannual bibliothon, so if you would like to see the TBR for that, I will leave that in the description box down below so you can check that out. But without further ado, I'm just going to tell you what I want to read in July. So these are in no particular order, and I'm just going to grab them at random. So the first book I have is My Father and Atticus Finch by Joseph Madison Beck, and basically this story is what inspired Harper Lee to write To Kill a Mockingbird, I think, or this was inspired by To Kill a Mockingbird, something of that sort. But I saw it, and I saw that it had a relation to To Kill a Mockingbird, and I needed to pick it up because, if you guys don't know, To Kill a Mockingbird is my all-time favorite book, and this seemed really interesting. The next 2 books I would like to try and get to this month are Shadow Kiss and Blood Promise, both by Rochelle Mead. This is going to be in my biannual bibliothon TBR, so I hope to get to this during that readathon, and then I can just read this after. Next is a book I didn't get to during June, and that is Midnighters by Scott Westerfeld. I'm not too sure if I'm actually going to read this or not, just because I've lost a bit of interest in it, just because I haven't gotten to read it. But we will see, so I'm adding it as a tentative TBR book. The next book is Teardrop by Lauren Kate, and this is basically about a girl who cries civilization into the ocean. This is another tentative TBR book just because I normally don't do watery mermaid type books, and the last time I did, I thoroughly hated the book, so I'm a bit iffy on if I'm actually going to be getting into this book and reading it. The only reason I picked it up from the library is because it had a really pretty cover. Next we have The Iron King by Julie Kagawa. This is about a girl who finds out that she is the daughter of a huge fairy king. I don't read much books with fairies in them, and so I'm interested to see how this pans out, and also I can do book and face. Next we have The Discovery of Witches by Deborah Harkness. This is a book about this girl who opens this document and a bunch of mythical creatures come to life because of it. It's not the actual synopsis, but that's just a quick synopsis, and I don't know if I'm going to get to it mostly because of how thick it is, but we will see. The next book is another book on my biannual bibliothon TBR, and that is The City of Bones by Cassandra Clare. Yes, I am finally starting this, and I hope to enjoy it as much as I did for The Infernal Devices. We shall see. I really, really hope I enjoy this as much as everybody else does, because I don't see many bad reviews on this book. And I just want to jump into this world and be back with the Shadow Hunters because I miss them so much. The next 2 books are The Iron Trial and The Copper Gauntlet. The Iron Trial is a book I'm going to be reading during the biannual bibliothon, and if I have time, I'll pick up The Copper Gauntlet. But I saw my library had these, and I needed to pick them up before they were gone because everybody raves about them. Next, we have another book for the biannual bibliothon, and that is The Archive by Victoria Schwab. I don't know much about this book, but it was a host recommendation, and so we have that. 2 other books that I'm going to be reading during the biannual bibliothon is Pivot by Elsie Barlow and The Wrong Girls by C.J. Archer. Those are ebooks, so I don't have those in a physical copy, but I decided to add those in just in case you didn't watch my biannual bibliothon TBR. I know this is such an ambitious TBR. I'm gonna get like no sleep if I want to try and read all of these, but that's okay. I have 3 more books I would like to show you guys. I'm gonna end up reading this probably first this month, and that is St. Odd by Dean Koontz. After I finish this video, I'm actually probably going to start reading this. It is June 30th, 8:47 at nighttime, so I'll probably get like 50 pages into this and then go to bed. But this is the last book in the Odd Thomas series, and I'm really scared and upset that this is the last book, because if something happens that I don't like about it, it's just gonna ruin the whole ending of the series. But I have faith that Dean Koontz is going to write a magnificent ending. So I'm super excited for this. Then the last 2 books I have, they don't go together at all, but I'm going to show them at the same time. We have The Ocean at the End of the Lane by Neil Gaiman and The Girl on the Train by Paula Hawkins. I've been wanting to read some Neil Gaiman's books, like actual books, and not like The Graveyard Boy, I think that's what it was. This just came out of my book. I'll explain these yellow pages though. So I saw that my library had this. It was one of the few Neil Gaiman books that they actually had, so I decided to pick it up because this is one that a lot of people talk about, whether it gets good or bad reviews. It is a well-known book. And then I saw they had Girl on the Train by Paula Hawkins, and I've been wanting to read this for a while because everybody says it's really good. And they also had All the Light We Cannot See, but I decided, instead of overwhelming myself with both of these books, that I will just pick this one up, mostly because All the Light We Cannot See is a historical fiction novel, and I don't think I would like it as much as I would The Girl on the Train. So I'm going to try and lift all these books up and count how many there are and see how crazy I am for wanting to read this many books this month. Alright, let's see if I can lift all these up. Oh god, oh god, oh god. Okay, so there are 14 books here in this pile, and I think I just like threw on my elbow trying to lift these up. But am I crazy for wanting to read this many books this month when I work like almost full time every week? Probably. But I am going to at least try and get through half of these, or as much as I did this month, so I'm going to challenge myself to read at least 9 out of these 14 books, and I know some of these will be very fast-paced to read. But if you like this video, please give it a huge thumbs up, hit that red button down below to be subscribed and notified of when I post any more videos in the near future. You should tell me in the comments down below what books you plan on reading in the month of July, or what books you read in the month of June. You can even link me your videos. I would love to watch them. If you've read any of these books or have any thoughts and opinions of them, please leave those in the comments down below because I would love to talk to you guys. But until next time, bye! So I realized I never got to explain what these yellow things are that fell out of my books, but basically this is my library's adult reading program. You fill these out with your name, the title of the book, and the author of the book, and you give it a star rating, and then you write your name and phone number and or email, and you are entered into a raffle of your choosing, and each of these yellow slips gives you a raffle ticket to put in towards raffles you want to be entered in. And knowing me and how much I read, I think I'll be winning some raffles sometime soon this summer. There's the explanation for that. Oh god, all these books are gonna fall. I'm still holding them. Ugh.